Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Empower Half Hour. I am one of your co-hosts today, Bradley W. Skinner, coming to you from Southwest Wyoming.
Frank Roneski from Southern New Jersey.
How's it going, Frank? Well, you guys almost done. What's your school year like? How much more time you got?
Actually, my university class is over. The semester has ended.
Right on.
My wife, who's the vice principal here in town, she goes until the first or second week in June. But crazy. How about you?
We are 2 days left.
Wow.
Yep, we'll be done. We've got students Thursday and Friday, and then a couple district celebration, I guess, on Monday, and then we're done. Yeah, it's gone pretty quick.
Before we get to our guests, how was it? Wait a minute. There's Darren Pepper trying to jump in.
What? Shout out to Darren. He is celebrating his daughter's birthday and graduation from college. So they are celebrating off in, fun land, I'm sure, somewhere. And we miss them.
Orlando, Florida. I've heard of it. I've been there maybe a few times.
The fact that you sent me some videos last night from Raglan Road, that hurt. I love Raglan Road, man. That place is amazing.
It is. Live music and great food.
Yes, and the dancing. It's all about the dancing, man.
It is. True.
Eating some food while you got people Irish step dancing on the tables next to you. That's awesome.
You gotta love. You know what? Maybe our next episode we should jump up, do a little step dancing.
That's
or
right.
Not.
Lord of the Dance, Frank Rudneski.
You know what? I freelance a lot, but I'm not Lord of anything. So how about our guest tonight, Bradley? I'm excited.
Honestly, I'm super excited. We get excited about our guests. It's always awesome to have people there, and to have these connections. But now for me, it's my turn here with two guests that are jumping in and joining us today. And the reason I'm so excited about these two guests is that they are both educators, both teachers, both incredible people, and they also are both former students of mine. So let's bring them in, and we'll have them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them and where they're coming from. So welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
Happy to have this opportunity.
Awesome. Kaylee, let's start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you're teaching? Give us a little bit of background for our viewers here.
I am located in Northern Colorado, teaching at an alternative middle school, special ed co-teaching. And I've been teaching, this is my third year teaching my same class.
Awesome.
Well, can we stop right there? Because what she just said, that was a whole paragraph. Okay. I think I heard special ed alternative middle school.
Yes.
That's platinum. You are teacher of the year.
Why, thank
Absolutely. You. Indeed. Wonderful. And Chantry, a little bit about you.
I've been also teaching for 3 years, and I teach choir at a charter school in Salt Lake County in Utah. And I don't know. I love it. It's great.
So let's start right off the bat with a question for both of you. Why teaching? What was it that got you to say, yeah, this is what I want to do?
I'll go first.
Okay, go.
Me, go. Okay, so when I was in college, I was a guitar performance major, and I realized that there's not much money in that unless I really want to try to make it big, and we all know how those odds are. And then my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, was like, hey, you should look into education. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. So really, honestly, I got into education for the steady paycheck. And the more I got into it, the more I loved it. And I'm so glad that I met my wife to tell me to go into education.
Wait a minute. Let's step back. Did you say guitar performance major?
Yes.
Because I would like to go to that college. Where is it?
USU.
Aggies. I love it that the diversification of a curriculum would allow you to follow your passion that far. And hey, are you left-handed?
I am not. I'm a righty all the way.
Yeah, I was just thinking Jimi Hendrix, maybe. I don't know. Well, way before your time. I know.
Oh, come on.
Guaranteed Chantry knows Jimi Hendrix.
Did we play one of his songs once?
Okay, hold on a second. Top 5 guitar players of all time. Go. Top 5. Go.
Oh, top 5. Okay.
Not in particular order.
Okay. Joe Walsh from the Eagles. You got Steve Vai, Jimi Hendrix. Oh, who else would there be? Fingerstyle. Oh, why am I blanking? Because you asked me. That's why. Okay, I got top 3. How about that?
I'm going to throw
Carlos Santana, Eric Clapton,
okay,
Jerry Garcia.
I love some Santana, but I'm still throwing Prince as my other one in there. I think Prince was
that's very
amazing guitar player. And we used to find we found so many creative ways to find, to let Chantry play guitar in performances and shows, things that we did. There was a lot of students that had a lot of skills, and we found ways to get those featured in our shows. It was great.
Oh yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was a lot of unique stuff. We even had a student. Chantry, didn't you play? Were you in the pit orchestra? Well, it was on stage orchestra for Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
Yeah, and what? Because didn't Mike play bass and Derek play the drums?
Yeah, Mike played bass, Derek played drums, Brad Roaring played keys, and I played guitar. My favorite part about that show was falling asleep on the stage before the show because we were the hobos. We just roamed around. Anyway, side note.
Again, we talked about that creativity. What we did with that show is instead of having an orchestra pit, we actually had the musicians on stage as part of the acting ensemble, and they were dressed up as kind of the bums on Skid Row. So we had to decorate all of their music equipment as well. So our bassist looked like he had a pizza box, around his guitar. We put trash cans around the drum set. The keyboard was inside a shopping
dumpster.
Yeah, in the dumps. I mean, it was awesome. But again, it was just creativity to let you guys get on stage and perform. It was great.
It was great.
So let's jump over. Kaylee, tell us a little bit about what was the draw for education for you? What got you into a classroom?
I just remember being a kid and my friends would come over and I'm like, let's play school. Let me teach you. And then I kind of had a passion for it my whole childhood up until high school, of course. And then I got bratty and hated high school. And then my teachers really just gave me that drive. I was on the edge of not graduating high school. I was kind of doing rocky in my classes. I got a good case of senioritis and I kind of just blew off my senior year. But my teachers and my principals really just stepped up and helped me out. And coming from a small town like that, it's just appreciated. And once my teachers did that, I thought that I was going to do during high school. I decided I would maybe do some kind of criminal major. I wasn't really sure. Started college for psychology. And then as soon as I was just like, I started to appreciate my teachers and appreciate the diploma that I may have not gotten if they weren't there for me. So that was a big role in it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to my childhood dream. We're going to be a teacher.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. So how have you been able to reciprocate that, knowing that you had some of those struggles, you had some of those challenges? How do you now bring that to the classroom to help your current students?
I'm a middle school teacher, so I have an alternative at that. So kids who already don't want to be in school or have some kind of learning disability that challenges them quite a bit, making them feel some type of way about being in school. And I just be real with them. Like, I'm not ashamed to tell you that I almost didn't graduate high school because I'm in a different place now. But when I was there, I could have used somebody to tell me, hey, I was there one day and I understood. I hated my parents. I was mouthy to my teachers, all the things that you appreciate once you're an adult. But I just be real with them. And if they need somebody, I'm here, even if it's not for school, if it's for school, if you feel dumb, like, let's step aside, let's figure it out together, because I'm the last person that doesn't want to see you walk across that stage because I was, like I said, I was just about there.
That's awesome.
And
That's
you've gone full circle. Your story is so like so many other students, but you followed through on what you were passionate about. I mean, trust me, a lot of students lose their focus way before high school. Middle school is a time where you can grab them, and even if they don't want whatever they want to do, you can differentiate according to their passion. And later on, if they find out, hey, it's teaching is for me, or an Atlantic City electric technician is for me, or whatever you're passionate about, you can work that into who you are and who you want to be. So I'm so proud. I mean, obviously, I've never met you before. Thank you, Bradley, for introducing us. But you have this story that you need to push out. So keep pushing it, and keep telling students, keep telling everybody that's listening and that will go back and listen to our show. I love you guys, so thank you. I appreciate.
So we know that there's been a lot of challenges this year. Obviously, different status in teaching with the whole COVID situation. So, next question for both of you: what's been the scenario? Have you been in person? Have you been online? Has it been a hybrid scenario? What have you done? Kaylee, let's start with you on that.
We've been very back and forth. We have a smaller school setting. There's only about 5 classrooms in my school because it is such an alternative special ed. So we have pretty close-knit classrooms. But so if one person had any kind of signs, symptoms, we were out, and we were out for the 14 to 20 days or whatever. So it really did kind of throw a damper on both the staff and students this year, going back and forth in and out. But I think for this coming year, we have positive things to look forward to with being strictly in, which would be really nice.
That's great. Chantry, what's your situation been at your school?
We had a combination. The students at the beginning of the year had 3 options. They could go fully in person, fully online, or a hybrid where they'd come into school for 1 or 2 classes and the rest was online. But as teachers didn't have that option, we had to accommodate for all of the above. And it was rough. I mean, trying to teach choir online has been a nightmare. Honestly, I got to the point this year, the past 2 months, I haven't done anything on Canvas because it's hard. It's rough. I don't know.
Yeah, what does that even look like? How does an art class, especially one like choir, which is nearly all performance-based, you have to be demonstrating competency of a specific skill. How do you do that in an online format?
I mean, there are some things. So most of the time it was all right, today I want you to focus on measures 23 through 50 on this piece. There's you could do a flip grid where they record themselves singing a portion of it and then submit it. That kind of works, but it just hasn't really worked. I've really struggled to keep up with anything on Canvas to teach choir online. It's been really hard.
Well, it sounds like it. That would definitely be a challenge. So knowing that we see these challenges, and obviously in some aspect, we, all 4 of us here, have dealt with them in different ways and found ways to make it work. Let's talk about those things that have worked. What are some celebrations that you 2 have seen from this year? Things that have just been awesome. When people ask, what are those great moments? What stands out for you from the school year that you really just revel in and celebrate?
I think for me, from the performing arts standpoint, the reach that our performances can have thanks to live stream. The technology in the past year around live streaming has gotten so amazing. I mean, our school has a camera in the gym that it's a smart camera. It will automatically follow the action and zoom in so that you don't have to be there to control it. And so the ability for us to share our performances with grandparents who are on the other side of the United States, they can watch our choir performance and be there because of the technology. We wouldn't have that if we didn't have the pandemic.
And especially a year ago, were you to do that, you often faced lawsuits
Yes.
because you were taking someone's copyrighted music and their material and you were putting it online. And like literally a year ago, same thing with theater. If we tried to do that and others found out about it, we faced a lawsuit. But this year, companies and publishing companies, writers themselves started realizing people need the arts. Kids need the arts. Families need to be able to support their students. They need to be able to celebrate these good things, and we need the arts in our lives. So if that means that they have to do it via a live stream, we need to provide them with the legal avenue to allow them to do that.
Right.
And I mean, just seeing that change, if someone would have asked me 2 years ago if that would happen, I still would have said no, because a lot of times they're greedy. They don't want their material getting out there. They want it being in-house only. But now to see how many live streaming events, I mean, even the fact of seeing, Disney taking the recorded production of Hamilton and making that available for people to see, that was huge. And we're being able to do the same thing with our own theater programs, our band, our choirs. And as you said, families from all over that have never been able to see their grandkids perform on stage are now able to do so from the comfort of their own home. It's pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Kaylee, how about you? What's been your big celebrations from this year?
We just had 4 seniors, which is a huge number because we have 10 high schoolers total. So we had 4 seniors just graduate today, actually. And it was just wonderful to see kids that I've been able to teach. I also teach high school art. Like I said, small settings. So us teachers are pretty multi-tools around there. But I just had 4 seniors graduate, and I've had a chance to teach every single one of them. And I had one of them tell me today that I was a huge reason in their success on graduating. And that's just something you can't hear from anything else. You can't get that from anywhere else.
I agree. Absolutely. It makes a difference. And those difference makers, I think that's the next thing I wanted to ask you guys about is what is it that's kept you in education? We're seeing, and Frank and I have talked about this on the show numerous times, we know that we're seeing and we're hearing from other college instructors that they are seeing a drastic drop in the amount of students that are taking educational courses, which means we're going to have in 2 to 3 years a severe education or teacher drought. So what keeps good teachers in the profession? What's keeping you from leaving and taking another position or another job where the career fields are plenty elsewhere? Why stay in education now?
I just have like the influence, the feeling and the influence that my teachers had on me just forever kind of stayed with me. Like I have my whole life to thank for what those high school teachers did to push me. And I feel like I need to do that in return for somebody else, because who knows where I could have been otherwise. It wasn't anything too severe. I just had a case of not wanting to go to school, but it just changed my life. And it was an aspect that I have now that I look on my students and I'm just like, I can't leave these kids, because what if their fortune is me helping them? What if that's the case and they get to graduate because of me? And also it makes me feel young to be around my young, fun kids all the time who want to play and just enjoy life. They're so innocent. It's like, you guys have no clue what the real world's like, but that's okay because it's just fun to be around it.
Oh, that's awesome. Chantry, how about you?
I've been pretty lucky with a really supportive admin team. Any challenge I faced, they've had my back. We've made compromises, but I've felt very supported, especially in my first years of teaching. I knew I could go to my admin team and they would be there to help me. Another thing is the same thing that like Kaylee was saying, that it's the students, knowing that I'm making a difference and being able to see that, being able to know that the students, when I started with them, they didn't know this. And then by the end of the year, I was able to get them from that point to where we are now. There's just, you can't get that anywhere else. It just happened. I don't know. It's just so awesome. And then the seniors, I love working with the seniors. Like, yes, you have to fight senioritis this part of the year, but when they come up and they give you that graduation announcement, they want to hand deliver that graduation announcement. There's no better feeling than being able to add their picture up on the wall with everyone else. I love it.
Chantry, I think I still have your graduation announcement in a box somewhere at my house.
That's awesome.
And it's true, it does. We just had graduation here on Monday night, and man, it's true. There's something special about that moment. You know, the kids being able to celebrate that success, where they're like, "Hey, I did this, and you were a part of that." Frank, what do you think?
When I was, my path to anything I've ever done in life has not been a straight line, as Bradley can tell you later on. But I had an education professor that told me one time, your students don't want to be like me, and I'm saying me now. They want to be like you. So, Kaylee, when you say it makes you feel young again, I mean, because you're so old now, but you are the young role model for them, and they see themselves in you. So you're taking them to a higher plane and to a higher level. And I think as educators, when you take someone and show them places that they've never been before, and you show them different avenues and different ways of doing things that they never would imagine in their lives. See, that's who you are: movers, shakers, and difference makers. And that's who we need right now. You are our hope for the future, and I'm just impressed with you guys, and you are passing that on to those people, the next generation, and the generation after that, and the generation after that. So thank you for who you are.
And for any of our viewers out there, those that are catching this on a later replay, or you're watching it a year or two from now on YouTube because you found this crazy show, the Empower Half Hour, and you are considering becoming a teacher, please stick with that. Follow through. There are so many kids out there that need great educators. They need people. They need those, and most important, they need people that believe in them, that care for them, and love them. That's what kids need right now. They're going to learn the skills. They're going to get there. It may take some time, but man, more than anything, they just need to know that somebody believes in them, that someone's willing to be that champion for them. So stick with it. Finish, get your degree, get out there, find a job. Call me, Frank, or Chantry or Kaylee, and we will find job openings, and we will tell you where you can go, because we need more good educators.
This is a special club.
And neither one of you guys have said this specifically, but what I've heard is that you are building relationships. And not only are you building relationships, but you're creating the whole child. You're creating a whole person, not just a test taker or someone that needs to succeed in academically, but you need to succeed in life. And I think Kaylee mentioned that earlier. So that's who you guys are. So what suggestion would you give to those educators out there that don't recognize the whole child model? Yeah, I know. It's a big.
I don't know.
Sorry.
For me, it's teaching the arts. Like that's why I do it. Like
yes.
I don't even know how to answer that, because that's my whole life, is just teaching the whole child. Like I just want my students to be better people, and I feel like as an art teacher, as a performing arts teacher, I have that ability. Like one of the great things about choir is we get to sing lyrics. Band and orchestra, they don't get lyrics, they just play the music. We get to actually tell a message to our audience, and we get to connect with each other in a different way because we get to use words. And I use that every chance I get so that these kids can explore those emotions in a safe environment, because especially now, these kids, they're so holed up in their social media that they don't know how to deal with their emotions. And so I really try to give them a chance to explore that through music. And so I don't even remember what the original question was, but this is the best profession on earth. And to anyone who's thinking about doing it, even the slightest bit, do it. you won't regret it.
I just have to say that I know teaching is probably one of the most difficult jobs. It's like being a full-time babysitter while trying to teach division. It's really complicated. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, especially on bad days with your kiddos, but I just look for something special in every single one of my kiddos and I just pursue that with them. Like, y'all are here for a reason. We cross paths for a reason, and we're just going to make it work until you guys walk across that stage. And hopefully I made a big enough impression on them for to want to walk across another stage. But if they just get this one, I'm fine with that too.
Serious.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Well, that brings us time for our final thoughts. And we'll boop. There we go. Dun dun dun. We need like a dramatic sound effect for that. I'll work on that next. And let's see. Oh man. Hey, here's what we're gonna do for a quick second. We might go a little bit over. I've got another guest that's jumping in here. Hey, everybody. This is Steve Eads. Okay, now really quick. So this might be my final thought here, and I'm gonna let Steve talk for a second. Okay, I'm gonna introduce Steve here. Steve, sorry I didn't see that you were in here sooner. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Steve was my first year of teaching, very first year of teaching. Steve was our student body vice president.
Activities, yeah, over activities.
Okay, and
Yep.
And Steve decided in his senior year of high school, hey, I haven't tried theater. Let's give that a shot. And ended up, I think, placing at state and just had a great, I mean, the kid was awesome, just amazing. And he's now a principal. Dude, tell me about that, man.
Well, I'm doing great. You know, when you reached out, I just appreciate it. It just kind of brought back a flood of memories, honestly. A little bit about me in high school. I was that typical jock, captain of the basketball team, captain of the football team, student body. So, and then the cliques at the school I went to was very strong. If you were in drama, you were a certain person. And then having Mr. Skinner Brad come in and just say, hey, what do you think about this? Because we took his class and he just made it really, you know, we just connected. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And it was just super powerful because as you guys were talking, I was just thinking about it. Life's about relationships. This profession is about relationships. And the impact that you make on students is forever lasting. I mean, this was 20 something years ago. I think we're coming up on 20 years ago. And for me, you made a huge impact because it opened up my eyes to different possibilities, not just being that jock. It was kind of fun because there's a couple people that they're like, you're actually kind of cool. We just thought you were a jerk, and just helping to get past that perception. And it was really great. I placed second at state. I probably should have placed first, but I kind of messed up a little bit, but it was such a blessing in my life. I look at it as it really kind of helped round me out as a person. And, you know, I think I have 5 little kids and I'm like, oh, you guys got to get into drama. You got to do it. You know, we still love sports and all that, but just having that whole perspective, because not all of us are going to go play in the NBA. But the arts side of things, that's for life. There's so much for it. But yeah, so my journey, it started a long time ago, just having amazing educators like yourself have an impact in my life. And so I said, time to pay it forward. It's kind of interesting because you guys talked about how to stay fresh. Year 9 for me was burnout year. I switched down to an elementary level. So I taught K-5 that level. I was teaching 5th grade at the time, year 9, and I just felt like a glorified babysitter. So I said, see ya, education. And I went and made a lot more money. And it was great. You know, I was like, I'm doing it. But the thing that I remember, it was about a year into it, and I was like, something's missing here. Something's missing here. And talked with my wife, and I said, hey, I have a crazy idea. Can we make it work? Can we go back? I think I want to go back to teaching. And we kind of crunched the numbers and we're like, it's going to be tight. It's going to be super tight, but we did it. Day one back in my fourth grade classroom, man, it was just like you're home. And just to see those kids' faces, it just made a huge impact for me. And I'm still so fresh into this, but I just think it's about the relationships and making those connections with people, because if we want to make a difference, it starts with us. And educators, they have that power. I'm proof of it. And I just look at it as, you pay it forward, and just grateful for the opportunity to be part of such a great profession. Before year 9, I'd always say, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a teacher. And now I'm like, I am an educator. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And sometimes we get caught up in that because we're not looked the same. I think after COVID happened, people are like, you guys are rock stars, because we know how it really happens, having kids go home and stuff like that. It's difficult. And so you guys ran it. I've been loving this show. It's awesome. Thank you for letting me join in. And Brad, Mr. Skinner's kind of weird, but
I used to call him Skinner.
I just am grateful for your influence you've had on my life. Definitely a positive. And so thank you so much. So truly grateful. Thanks for letting me jump in here. We've got a preschool graduation going on in a few minutes, so I'm still over at the school. So
Wonderful. We'll just do a quick around the horn then. Chantry, last words.
Education is like it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's so rewarding. The kids, yes, they can be little bad words sometimes, but most of the time it's great. And the end product, when you get to see those seniors walk across that stage, there is no better feeling than that. To know that you helped them, and then to see them come back, it's just the best. This is the best profession on earth.
Agreed. Kaylee.
I think I agree with Steve. Those relationships are just so important. And once you build those relationships, you've just made a mark in somebody's life. And as many classes as you keep teaching, that's just that many more kids that you've made an impression on, and they can turn out and be on a pod on this show just like us, hopefully one day. So,
Steve?
I just think I think about my mentor teacher, that he said, be a sponge, soak up all that goodness. And then I add my little twist and squeeze out the stuff that doesn't match with you. You're unique for a reason. And you bring something. And I truly believe that you will make connections with certain individuals out there that nobody else will be able to touch. And so just keep that mindset, because as you get further on in the career, you can get jaded. And I would just say, stay fresh, have that fresh perspective, always have that learning mentality. That's what I try to do every single day, is just push myself, because I haven't arrived yet. And I don't anticipate getting there yet. And so I just say, for you as educators, that's super important, because when it comes down to it, you guys are the ones when the rubber meets the road. In administration, it's about the teachers. Those are the ones that really make the impact. And a good administrator realizes that. They look at it and say, these people are going to make the difference, and how can I make their lives easier? And so you guys are awesome rock stars. Keep going, keep to the path, and keep having that positive attitude. There are going to be days, and make sure you write those down. Keep a journal, because you'll look back on life and you'll say, oh, I need a moment to reflect and just kind of build myself up. Like I have what's called a green file. And I just store all the little nice notes that kids have given me and stuff like that. So I can turn back to that and just like, oh yes, I need that. I need that pick me up. But keep fighting the battle. That's all I have.
That's awesome. Frank, over to you.
Hey, education was not my first career choice out of the University of San Francisco. I was a street magician. I worked in a magic shop. Eventually, I went back to New Jersey and opened up my own magic shop. But perception is reality, and I eventually found my calling. So I'll end with a magic trick that Bradley showed me about a year ago.
Whoa.
Perception is reality. Hey, I salute the greatness in you. Peace and love always win. Thank you.
And I'll finish with, of course, first and foremost, saying thank you to all three of you, Steve, Kaylee, Chantry. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being an influence in these kids' lives. Thank you for being an influence in mine. I'm going to get all emotional and start crying and everything, but that's totally fine because you guys mean so much to me. All of my students do. And the fact of knowing that you're out there making a difference and helping kids and be the better version of themselves that they can be in the same way that I strived and tried to do, hopefully, for the three of you and for all of my students. I love you guys so much. I wish I could hug all of you right now, but thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being and all the work that you're doing. And educators out there, please, I mean, these are just a sampling of the stories. If that's something that you're possibly feeling that you like, this might be in your future, that you would like to help make a difference, please reach out, let us know how we can help, and we will be more than happy to continue on in that path, because there are so many students out there all over this country and all over the world that need educators just like you to make a difference in their lives. Thank you so much for tuning into the Empower Half Hour, actually more the Empower 40 Minute, but we're so glad to have you with us. We'll see you next week.